first of all, congrats on this big project, Vin.
Tell me more.
I want to know about your character, Ray, and, Bloodshot in general.
Did you get to see the movie?
Of course.
What'd you think?
Last night, I loved it. Action, from beginning to end, my type of movie, but also seeing you in a different role, in a sense as well. How was that?
Very true, and probably the draw for me and what made me excited about doing the movie.
Yeah.
I initially thought when I first got the call, oh, you want me to play another super? You want me to play? Okay, it's up. And then when I got the script, I was like, this is a mind puzzle that is so fascinating. And what you're asking me to play is probably the most vulnerable character I've ever played, in spite of the fact that he's a superhero, in spite of the fact that he can regenerate, in spite of all his attributes, he's so vulnerable.
Is that why you got drawn into it?
That's why I got drawn into it. It was a challenge in that respect. It was interesting. I play these characters that are always at the top of their game in terms
macho,
of self-control.
Strong, yeah.
But this is a victim throughout the whole picture. His mind is being manipulated. You're seeing a mental illness imposed on him. Mm-hmm. And as we know from my movies, everything I do is motivated by love. But this is even a spin on that, because he's a killer and he's ruthless and he's assassinating people. And how is he doing it? How are they doing it? Well, they're manipulating his concept of love, and they're torturing him by forcing him to relive the most horrific moment of his life, the loss of his love, again and again and again. And so you start out the movie kind of seeing him go to work, and you're like, whoa, I would not want that man, I would not want that beast to be tracking me.
Exactly.
But as you go through the movie, you're going, oh my God.
It's so shocking. It's just the way it's developing and you start finding out things. It's like, it surprises you just how it leads to.
Yeah, and you start where you started being afraid of this formidable force, you start to feel this empathy.
He's unlike anything we've seen before.
It was so fun. She was such an incredible character to play with, because KT was this, when we first meet her, she kind of feels like standoffish and sort of cold-hearted, and I love the turn that she has throughout the movie where, like, things are not what you think or we perceive, and I think that's such a reflection for women as well. We sort of come off certain times because of a certain defensive mechanism, or like we're taken for granted or put in a certain stereotype. Yes. And I thought the approach of the character was smart in that sense, because you think, oh, badass chick, she's gonna be tough and she's a soldier, and then she has all these turns throughout the film, and also she's like prisoner of circumstances, but whenever she makes decisions, which I love the most, which we rarely see in action films, specifically with female characters, is she comes from, her life motif isn't like revenge or a man, or it's truly compassion of like, she doesn't really win much here. She just wants to do the good thing, and it's compassion for others, and I felt that was just wonderful. And at the same time, she doesn't need any help. She's so capable by herself.
They'll come for you.
Tell me about your character. You're kind of like the puppet master. At first I was like, oh my God, he saved the day, but you surprised me.
I am the puppet master, that's right. I play Dr. Emil Harding, so I play a scientist, a rather genius guy who is able to, with this technology that he's created, he's able to give people a second chance, a new life, whether they've lost a limb or lost their eyesight, or lost an arm, or even lost their life.
Developed an army of soldiers like yourself. Improved, enhanced. Welcome to the circus.
And I started my career playing a soldier for Steven Spielberg in Saving Private Ryan. But the soldier's plight has always been fascinating to me. There's a reason why a comic book is a New York Times bestseller. And that's because of the craftsmanship in the writing
behind it
of Bloodshot, even when it was in its comic book stage. I was excited to approach the superhero genre differently. Most of the time when you're telling the superhero story, the normal, typical superhero narrative, the superhero decides to be heroic.
Yeah.
This is
Different.
This is totally different. This is more akin, in many ways, to like Spartacus. He's a slave to this system.
Of course.
And so many soldiers deal with that reality of having to come home and wondering whether anyone will understand or appreciate the sacrifices they've made.
He's entirely in our control.
Commencing memory fabrication.
Which I felt, I don't know if I'm wrong, did he have a thing for Eiza somehow, some way? Because I
maybe.
sensed it. My girl instinct.
Yeah, you're like, I see
instinct.
that.
I was like, I see something right here.
Yeah.
He's
that's
just
so
mad because
fun.
she's not into
he's-
bionicle legs.
He's just kind of talking about stereotypes, though. You know, I
Yeah.
think every single character is a twist on the stereotype. The movie's a twist on stereotype. It's not just an action movie. You know, there's this sort of humane sci-fi aspect to it,
Yes.
and there's a darker side to it as well. And all these characters are broken. And yeah, I mean, my character's disability is that he can't get laid. I think, it's pretty, but he's like such an alpha, and
He is.
he just
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
used to being number one, and he lost his legs, and he's really
But he's
really
competitive.
angry about it, and
Yes.
competitive, and feels like he's been hard done by, and like he's railing at the world for having put him in this situation, and Harding is sort of surpassed him to give these abilities to someone else. So yeah, that's why he's so angry.
At RST, we'd rebuild the most important assets in the U.S. military. Soldiers like yourself. You're the first who we've successfully managed to bring back, but improved, enhanced.
That lives in this movie. The idea of the discarded soldier is present in this movie. All of those things that made it not just a superhero movie. So I'm so excited for people to see this movie. I'm excited for people to imagine how they're going to walk out of the theater. They're going to be asking what's real. They're going to ask, they're going to look at everything differently. They're going to look at, they're going to try to detect who and what is manipulating them. I mean, it's going to really open your... Yeah, it's a trip.
Shared sequence.
What happened?
You got yourself killed. You have been given a second chance.
And
As
then you
in,
mentioned something, you make them better or the best version of themselves.
Well, that's right.
right?
Not only do I sort of improve them
Yeah.
and give them a second chance, but that's right, give them superhuman powers as well.
Veins will make you faster, stronger.
Talking about second chance, do you ever feel like you would want a second chance on something in life?
I feel like every time I do a film, it's another chance. So I feel pretty lucky, to be honest. But no, I think I'm pretty happy with the
You're
ones
happy
that I've
with
had.
the results?
Yeah.
Something doesn't feel right.
They've been manipulating you.
Set the next target for elimination.
Do you expect Bloodshot to be a franchise, just as, Fast and Furious has been?
Sure. It's a very good question. And let me try to answer it this way. I naturally was aware that Valiant Comics was relying on this movie to launch their universe, which of course would mean the various sequels of Bloodshot. But because I was playing a character so unaware of what's real and not real, I didn't think about the future as much as I would with all the other franchises. And
Yeah.
I wanted to, I didn't want to assume anything. I couldn't to properly embrace this role. This is the one time where I truly did not think outside of this immediate story. In some ways, I wasn't able to even think about the third act.
Yeah.
I had to be so in the present state of mind to pull this off, because you really, when you see the movie, you really feel for.
Memories are made of this.
What is this place?
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but you got yourself killed.
How is it working with VinDiesel and the whole team? Because, he's also, directing, and then, the Fast and Furious saga, the whole franchise,
he was
the
great.
whole team.
Yeah, he was great. He's a fun guy. We had a great time together.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's the whole Vin Diesel sort of universe that surrounds him. But he's a very personable guy, and he just wanted to have a good time and make a good film. And he's very aware of I guess he's very aware of what's sort of marketable and what's what will work in a film. So it was great to sort of get that perspective on things, as well as just really getting down to the character stuff as well. So yeah, it was cool.
Weapon.
You made me, but you can't control me forever.
Did you feel like you could relate to her in a way?
Absolutely. I felt like, that's every woman I've ever met in my life, and I wanted to transport that to screen. I feel like sometimes we Hollywood doesn't do a great job for female characters, and when they want to make these badass roles, it kind of falls into this archetype of like woman that men have predefined. And I feel like as a woman, the only thing I can do is reflect what I've seen in my home, my friends, my girls, my sisters, and so that was kind of what I wanted to, and I brought that strength that I've seen in women, and that's amazing. Really exciting.
I'm looking forward to it.
If you had a superpower or any special talent in life where you're like, I would want to have that, what would it be?
Have you seen Mel Gibson's What Women Want?
Oh, that's very hard.
That is actually great.
Yeah, yes. I would want to do that. I would want to be able to just go, oh, flowers? Already thought of it.
To heal people, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a healing power.
I mean, I suddenly started thinking about Dr. Doolittle, but then I thought, what about Mrs. Doubtfire? Maybe
you want to be like Tyler Perry? You'll be a crossdresser.
I want to be like Robin Williams, okay?
You want to be a crossdresser?
Yeah, that's it.
Think about men like me.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love your nails. Jesus, so cute.
Thank you so much.